Right, so this is the setup for you. So this is the railroad yard, as I was told, with lots of people and lots of equipment, which of course was not true. So it turns out why my paperwork said Nevada Railroad Yard is because actually they own this land, and we are sitting next to the place. They give me the address for that factory. And basically, see all these weird shapes? Those are concrete ties, ladies and gentlemen, railroad ties. Because evidently, I was told by the guy who was flipping my axle, we almost killed ourselves doing that, so never again will I flip tandem together. Too dangerous. Anyway, so the guy told me that this plant, the whole industry is switching to these concrete ties. And you see those wood ties over there, right? And they have these plates where, the ties are, bolted into the ground. Or I mean, the rails are bolted to the ties, right? So they have heaps and little mountains over here with these. Hold on, let me see if I can make it bigger. Yeah, see over there, those heaps, and that's the plant over there. And I'm looking totally ridiculous. Let me turn the camera. I look like this, and I would be laughing too, but I'm in Pueblo, right? Just south of Pueblo, Colorado. And up north, just 2 hours north, there's a snowstorm, there's blizzard. And over here, it's all dirt. It's all dirt. And it's hard to see well. Right now, of course, it's calmed down as soon as I started. But you see this? You see that dust flying around? And the whole truck is shaking right now as I'm recording this. As I was saying, the gusts up to like 45 miles per hour. And I found the machines, so I called the guy. They said, yeah, go in the back behind this plant, and you will actually be on the railroad land, and you will find your machines. And I was expecting someone will be here, but nobody here to help me. It took a while to find the keys, and of course, at first I was wearing this, and I was wearing my safety boots. Then I have sand all under my clothes. It's like the conditions are. It's like it's Mars. Mars is famous for like dust storms, right? But first of all, I had the flip axles, right? It was actually pretty cool to drive like that, but it's really difficult to flip them. So you might see some forklifts in the distance over there. Hold on, let me see. Let me make it bigger. There's two forklifts in the distance. Yellow one, and then the guy tried to flip it with no, not this one. Yeah, the one that's dusty, like in the middle of the frame. It's like a huge forklift, probably like a 20-tonner or I don't know, 30-tonner. But the forks are pretty short, so there was no way he could flip it with chains or with when you have a single axle flip, right? They just put forks on the tires and just roll them down. That would be like easy. But yeah, this is really, really dangerous. I was really expecting the whole thing to come down crashing and damage maybe like the airbags or the connectors, but somehow we made it. So I was standing here and watching, and then of course, he brought the excavator, so he couldn't do it with a forklift. So I saw a small wheeled excavator, and of course this is a different property. And I walked over to them before, and I said, guys, you work for the railroad or you work for these guys? And they said, we work for these guys, for the factory. And I begged with their boss in there. I said, guys, could you please help me? Like, I was told this was a railroad yard, right? So I didn't bring any cash with me, because of course for this, people expect to be paid. So it took us probably, I don't know, an hour to do this, because first there was a forklift. The forklift didn't work. Yeah, I see now. You can see the storm, and all this stuff flies under your clothes. And then the guy says, walk over to the machine and I'll tell you where the keys are. So I'm going over to the machine. The dust blows in my face. As soon as I get behind the machine, those are two ugly mothers over there. So I'm picking one of them. And then of course I left the piece of paper with the serial number in the truck. I have to walk back. Then I go back there, so I find my machine. It's the one on this side. And behind us actually is another interesting factory. It's where they make all these wind generators. It's a huge property. I saw a bunch of escort cars sitting outside waiting for trucks. I saw huge trucks, you know, with all these like 40-wheel trailers. Right behind us, I forgot what it's called, Vesta, something like that. Very big. So if you Google it, Pueblo, Colorado, wind mill plant, that's where I am. So there's a railroad line, and those guys are on the other side. I can see them in the mirror, and we're over here, right? But finally, so everything is dropped, right? The connections, I didn't touch the connections, the electric, the air, it's all been connected. And I dropped the suspension on the truck because the bolts didn't want to go in, because this side was too tall. And I dropped the suspension right away. I was able to put the bolts in between axle 2 and 3. So now everything is connected, but I drained the suspension over there so that it doesn't bounce. And now I just need to drop down those ramps. I'll probably drag those boards from under there because I have to go and measure. They told me it was 910 wide. But anyway, so I got the keys, and at least I have the see, my glasses are just, as soon as I'm inside, they start fogging. But that's what you need glasses like this. In this weather, it's like beautiful, you know, like no sand, because before I used regular glasses and like 2 minutes I had a bucket full of sand in each eye. But we found the keys, and I have a direct cell line to a guy that's sitting in Oregon where they make these machines, and he says, call me anytime, this is my cell, I will guide you how to start this. And I said, wait, so there's nobody to help me? No. And I'm talking to another guy before, and he says, well, I'm in Arkansas. I talked to this guy, the actual who knows more about them, and he says, well, I'm in Oregon at the factory. And right away I say, hold on, what's the time over there? Because I was afraid he would go home by the time I'm ready. And he says, don't worry, if I go out for lunch, I will answer the cell phone, so you can call me anytime. So, because basically, finally they got the message that I said, you know, I'm all alone here. Well, at least the problem one was flipping the axles. That's done. For problem number 2, at first they told me they forgot the keys, and there was a messenger coming with keys. And then I called this contact they gave me. The guy says, well, actually, I'm in Texas. Call this guy. So I called this other guy, and he said, all right, go to the right side. Look at the ladder. On the left side of the ladder, there's a big bolt going into the machine as if to adjust something. Like, I'm kidding you not. I said, all right. And I climbed the ladder, right? The guy says, I said, wait, I'm on top of the ladder. No, do not climb on top of the ladder. Go down. It's to the left of the ladder. You have to stand on the ground. I'm like, hold on, climbing down the ladder, and this windstorm, 50 miles an hour, and my phone keeps interrupting. As soon as I walk behind the machine, my phone keeps interrupting. So anyway, finally, he says, there should be a bunch of keys. And I look there, there's like a little flat place hidden away from view, and I find this. I didn't see a bunch of keys. I see one ugly key. And of course, I knew that this is not for the ignition, but I saw all around the machines, they have two padlocks, and they look like pretty small. So I figured this was for those padlocks. And one opened the toolbox where these keys were, and the other one, you need that one to remove in order to start the machine. Like basically the ignition panel is locked with a padlock, which is open with this. It's like pretty secure, high-tech thing, except of course they they left the key. But I'm telling you, if I'm a thief, I would never have found it, because you need somebody to tell you where to look, because, you know, it's all full of dirt. And that's another problem. That's what the broker told me. He says, Sergey, we have a problem. I know it has to be clean, but, you know, they were working in the yard, and of course you can guess, working in this yard, so it's all full of dirt. But anyway, it's too dusty. I don't know if I'll be able to record outside. But actually, GoPros are fully charged, ready to go. But at least I'll be able to put one in here. That's why I position the truck like this, so you guys can see me loading once I figure out, but it's probably gonna take me a long time. But basically this thing, there's a remote, and you start the remote and you just try to, you know, play with it a little bit. That's why I parked over here away from there, because I knew that, you know, I have this distance now to learn how sensitive the remote is, because some of these remotes, you know, I hope they have these push button kind of a deal where you can adjust the pressure and the speed, you know, like by how hard you push on the lever. Because if it's just contact and the only one speed, then we might have a problem. So anyway, sorry for my ridiculous look, but it's emergency circumstances outside. Like I said, it's like Mars, you know, and it's hot, but I have to wear this because otherwise I look like, you know, I don't know, a sandman. All right, hold on. So basically, let's go to the machine. I'm gonna call the guy and he will guide me how to start it and how to bring it to the trailer.